So I couldn't sleep last night. I had this, I woke up around 1:30 from this horrible, horrible dream. And I haven't told Dev about this yet, but Dev, I had a dream about you. And actually, Joel was in it too. And I was presenting, and I looked out into the audience, and only Joel and Dev were there. And I just kept talking, I kept presenting. It really didn't faze me. So that's the bad news. The good news is that they were both fully clothed, right? So yeah, so I'm dreaming about Dev and Joel. Anyways, as Dev mentioned, my name's Kristen. I'm the co-founder and CEO at G-Shift Labs. And G-Shift is a content marketing performance metrics platform for SEO, social, and mobile. And that just so happens to be the themes that I'm going to be talking about this morning. We also like to call ourselves web presence analytics for brands and agencies. And so how many folks, just a show of hands so I know who's in the audience, how many people work for an agency? Okay, and how many work directly for an in-house brand, in-house marketing team? And then in terms of sort of sophistication, how many people have been in the digital world for, say, 10 years? Okay, 8 years? 5, 4. Just started today. It's always a good time to start. Okay, that gives me a pretty good idea. And so I'm going to be talking about really, let me just go back here for a second. Anyways, I want to talk about this collision that's happening in the marketplace of paid, owned, and earned media. I want to talk about mobile-ready opportunities because I think that that's a massive missed opportunity for brands to get their content discovered on mobile devices and to really start to think about that. I want to talk about search behavior and discoverability. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Social keyword research, we're going to talk about the importance of keyword research in all of this. And I want to talk about data and content performance metrics, among many other things, and the outcomes that I want you to have. I'm going to arm you with these 5 smart questions. And there's actually a document in your folder that I've listed the smart questions, so you don't even have to write them down. I'm just giving you something to think about, right? And these are sort of high-level questions that you really don't need to know the answers to them right now, but you need to go back and ask your team or ask your agency if they're indeed addressing these questions. And then I want to arm your brand with an edge in search, social, and mobile. So just a little bit about G-Shift, and then I'll get on with it. G-Shift, I founded in 2009. It's my 3rd digital marketing company. I live and breathe digital. I even dream about it, Dev and Joel. And so what our platform does is our DNA is very much data and very much content. And I've lived and breathed this stuff for about 15 years now. And so our software as a service platform goes out every single day and collects all kinds of data about your web presence, if we're indeed tracking it. And we collect this data for the sole purpose of optimization, so that's search engine optimization, data to help inform the process so that your content can be discovered at the right time and the right place. And so we collect billions and billions and billions of data points. You can think of us as a big data play for content marketing. And we sell into agencies and brands all over the world, 22 different countries, including Turkey. I met somebody this morning from Turkey. Yay, Turkey. And we transform those big data insights into intelligence for decision makers, for agencies and brands. And so we really like to say that we inform the content marketing workflow process. So hence the theme of my presentation. And so what's really going on out there? 2014 and into 2015, there's a really big opportunity, I think, for marketers and for agencies to really bring together some of these concepts into an integrated marketing strategy, digital marketing strategy. And so you probably look at this word cloud, and I love word clouds. They're really simple. And so this was a word cloud put together at the end of 2013 by Adobe and eConsultancy. And they went out into the US market and they interviewed hundreds of digital marketers, primarily senior level, and they said, what do you think the biggest opportunity is for your brand in digital marketing in 2014? And these are the words that came back: content marketing optimization, mobile optimization, social, customers. And so does anybody feel like they've totally nailed this keyword cloud? Like, oh yeah, we're doing that. I can leave now. I don't have to stay here for the rest of the day. This gentleman here has totally nailed it. Where are you from? Or are you joking?
Where am I from?
Have you totally nailed this keyword cloud? I mean, you don't nail, but okay, okay. And I think that we're doing some of these things, but we're doing them in silos. And even G-Shift's marketing team is guilty of this. We're not always bringing together all of the concepts for complete optimization of a digital marketing strategy. And the folks who do are really going to knock it out of the park. And so, when you take a look at this word cloud and you take a look at what's happening in the digital space, what we're seeing and the services, because G-Shift does some services, the lines are really blurring between paid, owned, and earned media, these three traditional pillars of digital marketing, okay? And so really at the core of all of this, and there's a reason why this is happening, at the core, right at that center, the intersection of those three circles, those three traditional pillars of digital marketing is content. You can't do paid anymore without a strong content marketing strategy. You can't do owned properly, and you can't do earned properly without a strong content marketing strategy. And so I am going to focus the rest of my presentation on those owned and earned pillars. I'm going to leave paid for, I see Andrew Yang just walked in, and he's from Bing, and I think you're speaking, and he'll be talking all about paid. But owned and earned is really where it's at for brands, where the big opportunities are. And so when I say owned and earned, just to make sure we're all on the same page, that's, earned content or earned media is, PR, social. You need to earn the discoverability of your content in those channels. Owned, that's content that you own on your own domain, okay? And so this, again, is from Adobe eConsultancy. It's from the same study. And, this was one thing that a marketer came back with in that study. The most important opportunity is content, is this pervades all the digital media that we're using to reach our audiences. And so I think that there are two things that you need to be successful for the rest of 2014 and into 2015 and 2016, and that is to take this sort of intersection of those overlapping circles and sort of flip it on its side and start to think of content as the source of your success, okay? And then the SEO, the social, the organic search, the paid search, the PR, the email marketing, those are really just distribution points. Focus on and invest in your content marketing strategy. Think of those pillars, now flipped over on its side, as the distribution point to get your content into the eyes of your audience at the right time, at the right place, when they're ready to make a buying decision for your product or service, okay? So that's the first thing you need to do. The second thing that you need to do is get buy-in. You need to get buy-in of all of this stuff. And so this is a chart that's been developed, and it's going to be published next month in Harvard Business Review. And I probably shouldn't even be showing it, so don't tweet it. No tweeting, no picture taking. Anyway, I love this because it's all about saying that digital strategies and digital marketing, you need to get buy-in. And so there's these 4 quadrants, and you can take a look at it, and you should identify where you think your organization is. Are you a beginner? Are you a fashionista? Are you a conservative? Are you a digital master? And we should all strive to be digital masters, right? And so, beginners, and we'll just go through some of these points, and somebody needs to give me some time, how much time I have left, because I can talk forever. Are you a beginner? Is your organization a beginner? Management is skeptical of the business value of advanced digital technologies. Maybe carrying out some experiments, immature digital culture, right? And that's a term that I want you to remember, the digital culture. And I'm starting to think about that more and more. Digital masters, on the other hand, so that upper right-hand quadrant, overarching digital vision. Many digital initiatives generating measurable value and crossing silos, okay? Again, we have to stop doing those random acts of digital marketing in the silos. So let's fire out an email blast, do a paid search campaign. Those are just random acts of digital marketing, and they have to stop being executed in silos. So keep that in mind, and we're going to come back to that. And so a brand's digital web presence is largely based on continuously controlling the conversation. This is why we need management buy-in with all of this, because I think in that the graphic over on the right-hand side, that's all that stuff that's out there. And I think that management doesn't understand that people are having conversations about their brand, and external people to the organization are in control of their digital culture. And we're not controlling the conversations because we're not controlling our own content marketing, right? And so conversations are happening. And so this is why we need to get buy-in, because that culture is not in our control anymore. unless we have the content marketing that's distributed properly into the right channels at the right time on a continuous basis so that we can manage and control our own digital culture and conversations. So I want you to be there. I want everybody to strive to be a digital master. And so I'm not making this stuff up, this content marketing stuff. In the US alone, it's a $44 billion industry, and I think that that's understated for the US. B2C and B2B content marketers all over the place are spending more and more and more, but they're having a difficult time measuring the investment on that, or the ROI on that. We'll talk about that in a bit. And so why is there this focus on content marketing? Google and Bing. Where's Andrew? I have to always remember Bing. Right? So Google started making these massive search algorithm changes a handful of years ago now, right? Penguin, panda, blah, blah, blah. You can't trick, because this is about discoverability. You want your content, your brand, to be discovered primarily in the search engines, also in social, but you can't do that now by tricking them. Thankfully, I'm glad those days are behind us. It's now about a solid content marketing strategy and getting that fresh, relevant, authoritative content into the eyes of your audience at the right time. So I thank Google and Bing for making those algorithm changes. And SEO. SEO, in my opinion, is a four-letter word. I hate the term SEO. By the way, I'm surprised I haven't sworn yet. I am from Barrie, so I have a potty mouth, and I haven't sworn yet. It's awesome. It's a new world record for me. SEO, I hate, but I love. I love it. I'm obsessed with it because it's such an art. There's no right or wrong answer. It's always challenging. It's never ending. If you do it right, you can win. But that term is really, really dead, right? But it's still important to focus on the discoverability of your content, right? Everyone, and so this is SERPs, search engine result pages from Google and Bing, and everyone is still looking at that left-hand side of the search results, the organic search results. So a lot of people say SEO is dead. It's really not. There are billions and billions of searches done every single day, and everyone looks at the organic side of search. And they look at it for a long time. They look at the organic side of search for about 14.7 seconds in Google and 10.7 seconds in Bing. Compare that to the paid side of search. Only 28% look there, and they only look for 0.16 seconds. I mean, I hardly look there. And there are many reasons for that. And then of the 100% of the people who are looking at the organic side of search, 94% of people are actually clicking on the organic side of search compared to only 6% clicking on paid, right? So owned and earned, organic side, need to focus on that. Paid is still important. Paid is, it's very healthy to have a paid component of your digital marketing strategy, but it shouldn't be the be-all and end-all, okay? So need to get discovered. And SEO, that four-letter word, and my slide's a little squished, sorry. SEO is integrate D with everything G. Take a look at these numbers. So SEO is integrated with everything. So this is a SEMPO study, Search Engine Marketing Professionals Organization. Has anybody heard of it? Is anybody a member? Shit. Andrew is. So I'm on the International Board of Directors of Search Engine Marketing Professionals Organization because I'm in love with search standards and teaching people the right thing to do as it relates to digital marketing. So I really love that organization. We're having an event in October, and Bing is a major sponsor. And so this is, they went out and they asked a bunch of questions. To what degree are your search engine optimization efforts integrated with the following digital marketing disciplines? And just take a look at the first column there, content marketing. 45%, okay? So just remember that number because I actually noticed a pattern in my numbers just this morning. So SEO is integrated with content marketing. And you know, with all of the search engine changes that have been done, we at G-Shift have come up with this integrated services approach that really address all of the search engine changes, as well as we've indicated, so over on the, what is your right-hand side, the percentages, we believe that first of all, this services approach called the hierarchy of web presence optimization is the best way to win over the long term with a content marketing strategy where your brand's content is discoverable in search and social and mobile, again, at the right time in the right place. And so, you still have to do that technical SEO stuff and keyword research, all really important, addresses certain major algorithm changes that have been done, but the bulk of the focus, the bulk of the service offering, the bulk of your budget, should be content marketing. And there just happens to be a similarity with the last slide. It's that 45%. Whoops, shit. We believe that about 45% of your digital budget should be content marketing. Okay? Is anybody here at that level, focusing that much of the budget on content marketing? More? Less? Zero? What the hell is content marketing? And so the integrated digital marketing investment, take a look at this. So this is a collection of data that we put together from our customer base. So we took all the services contracts of a bunch of major brands that we work with, and coincidentally, most of their budget is on content marketing. Okay? So, and it works. It really works. So what is content marketing if we're not, just to make sure we're all on the same page? Content marketing is a process. Okay, you can't do marketing without content. Even back 40 years ago, you know, you had to have a piece of content to market. And so it's a process, and the process varies in degree of expertise from brand to brand, company to company. Some have very sophisticated processes, some don't. And so ultimately, though, every marketer, every business owner everywhere is making a decision to create a piece of content, to distribute that content somewhere, search engines, social media, email, maybe snail mail. They should monitor that content, and they should measure the results of that content. But those are big, big gaps, right? And so what G-Shift does, we have a bunch of data, and this isn't a G-Shift pitch, maybe there are other vendors that do this too. We have a bunch of data that better informs the content marketing process so that you can make smarter content, so that you can distribute it and distribute it effectively into the right channel, monitor that piece of content every single day. So a piece of content, right? A blog post, a press release, a web page on your website, a tweet, anything that has a URL that belongs to your brand is a piece of content, okay? And then you have to report on it. And so I think that the content marketing process for the modern marketer is not so much linear, but it's this ongoing process. You're continually optimizing the content that you have and understanding how it is discoverable in Google, in Bing, in, what's the search engine that just got announced as the default search engine for Apple? DuckDuckGo? Yeah, DuckDuckGo. Put that on your list. So it's this ongoing process. And of course, you're building relevant, engaging, authoritative, influential content, not just to be discovered, but also for your audience, right? But hey, I get it. You're sitting there, it's like, wow, it's a lot of work. I have a lot to learn, a lot to do. And you can have agencies that do this, right? And the reality is that, you know, everybody is jumping on this content marketing bandwagon. All over the world, SEO agencies aren't SEO agencies anymore, they're content marketing experts. Social media agencies, and I love this one the best, they've actually discovered that you can't do social media without a piece of content. It's amazing. So they've become content marketing experts. And B2B marketing agencies are adding the word content into everything that they do. So you really want to take a look at your agency, and I know Dev's team is awesome. They really know how to do it, and so you really want to just understand the level of expertise around any service offering that you're buying, right? And so I think content is the next big spam. I think we're all about to be buried in this big pile of content crap, just crappy, crappy content. And so smart question number one for you to ask your agency, your in-house marketing team, are we building crap content just for the purpose of building content because it's so important to paid, owned, and earned, or are we building smart content? And we're going to come back to what smart content is. There's a massive opportunity for mobile discoverability. And so when we're executing on our digital marketing strategies, whether paid, owned, or earned, any piece of content, how is that piece of content discovered on a mobile device compared to a desktop? So when I do a search from my desktop at Google or at Bing, there's a set of search results. That set of search results is different on a mobile device. How is my content discoverability different on one versus the other? And how the hell do I figure that out? And there's a massive opportunity, I think, for brands to pay attention to that because your competitor probably isn't. So if you start paying attention to mobile discoverability and mobile content marketing first, you're going to win. And so at G-Shift, we collect a bunch of data. We track thousands and thousands and thousands of web presences every single day. And so we got curious. And so last January, we started to track. I was curious to know what's the average percentage of organic visits to the same 6,000 web presences from a mobile device. So every single month we're tracking this, and you can see the trend is increasing, and it's continued to increase over 2014. So we need to understand that our audience is more often searching from a mobile device to find what it is we're buying and selling. And if we're not thinking about that in paid, owned, and earned, we're missing the boat, okay? Let's skip that. And so this is Matt Cutts. We know Matt Cutts? All right. Mobile, so he said this at I heard him say this at San Fran Search Engine Strategies. Mobile is probably growing faster than anyone in the room expects. Mobile traffic to Google will surpass desktop traffic to Google pretty soon. Not in weeks or months, but soon. And so it's almost like, well, forget about the desktop. I don't care how my web presence performs on a desktop or how my content performs. It should just do mobile first because it's not going away. Smart question number 2. How does our discoverability in search and social differ on a mobile device compared to a desktop? Ask your in-house team that. Ask your agency. I know Dev's team will have a great answer. So what is this really all about? So I do a lot of writing and thinking about SEO and social and discoverability and brand and culture and digital stuff. And I really got fed up with the definition of SEO. And so I'm always tweaking what I think SEO is about and what this is all about. So this is what I think it's all about. It's this whole effort of digital marketing is about this. It's about the long-term process. Long-term, that's really, really key. There are no quick wins. There are no overnight successes in this. The long-term process of enhancing both the brand's web presence asset and the opportunity for discoverability in search, social, and mobile throughout the prospect's buying cycle and across any device. And if you keep that in mind as the cornerstone of your digital marketing objective, you might actually kill the competition, which should always be a goal. And so I think that the web presence is one of the organization's most valuable assets. It should actually be listed on a balance sheet. And as soon as I tackle world domination for web presence analytics and content marketing performance, I'm going to tackle the accountants and get them to list web presences on balance sheets. You have to have big dreams. So this is another word cloud, love it, but I actually think this word cloud is wrong. So what's the most untapped potential for SEO, that 4-letter word, in 2014? And the marketers came back with content and keywords. And this is where I think there's a really massive gap, and this is where there's the difference between content marketing and smart content marketing. Content marketing is just looking at content. You're just building content. You have a content schedule. You have people writing blog posts. You should stop right there. That's dumb content. Smart content is based on keywords, highly converting keywords, understanding the keywords that your prospects are actually using to try to find you, right? And so we know what keywords are. There's branded keywords. There's unbranded keywords. Your goal for your branded keywords for your company, so that's your company name, your product names, all that stuff. Your goal for your branded keywords should be to dominate page 1 in Bing first, and then Google second. How many people dominate the top 10 for their branded keywords? So I'm talking about your company website, your Twitter account, your Facebook account, your whatever, right? If you don't own the top 10, get busy. Non-branded keywords, right, they're more general. They describe the product or service that your competitor is also selling, right? And these are better keywords to attempt to rank for because you need to intercept your prospect in their buying cycle prior to the competitor intercepting them, right? And so the goal is discovering those highly converting keywords and building them into your content marketing strategy to create that smarter content. And so this is really this is like the holy grail for me, and this is where we're ultimately innovating with our platform. And there's a bunch of sub-smart questions to ask yourself. But it really starts with the keyword. I think that's the biggest opportunity. The ongoing keyword research never, ever, ever ends to build the content, and then understanding and asking the question, what stage of the sales funnel am I creating this content for? Am I creating it for the awareness phase, the interest phase, the evaluation? Why am I creating it, and what is the intention for it? And then where are my content gaps? Maybe all of my content investments are going into the awareness phase, and I have nothing to help support the buying process as the customer attempts to make a decision and evaluate my organization, my services, my product, whatever it is. So really getting smart about understanding the stage of the sales funnel that you're creating that content for. And so content marketing is about people, blah, blah, blah. I think that's bullshit, actually. I think content marketing is more about data. And the folks who drive their content marketing strategy for ultimate discoverability, long-term discoverability, if they drive that from great data, they're going to win faster and bigger than their competitor. And this is one of the biggest problems with content marketing. So this is CMI World. Was anybody at Content Marketing World last week? Awesome. One? Oh, yeah, Hannah. That's it. Yeah, you should go to Content Marketing World next year. It's awesome. It's massive. They're really winning in terms of trade shows in the US, really nailing a lot of the hot topics for digital marketers. But producing the kind of content that engages prospects and customers is the biggest challenge for content marketing, and you need the analytics or the data to inform that entire process. And so I love data. Again, G-Shift's all about data, and so these are my 6 Ds to discoverability. So you need the data to make the decisions, to deliver the content, to make the difference, to dominate for ultimate discoverability. And I think that if you keep that in mind, again, any piece of content that you're writing, investing in, is it based on good, strong data? And I'm going to show you some data next, I think. So does anybody know what this number is? It's 58 million. So it's how much time do I have left? 50 minutes, perfect. So 58 million, that's the number of tweets per day. It's probably more than that now because this stat is a couple months old. There are 58 million tweets per day. That's a massive amount of data in my mind. It's a massive number of conversations, and it's a massive number of data as it relates to keywords because you can only pick 140 characters. So in your mind, you're already, when you do your tweet, you're picking the best keywords that describe what it is you're trying to communicate. And in my mind, that's a great source of keyword research data to understand the conversations that are happening now so I can control my digital culture, so I can build the right content to intercept my buyer. And so what is this? It's 18 minutes. And that's apparently the length of time a tweet lives if it isn't retweeted ever. So it only lives for 18 minutes. And in my mind, that's sad because it's a whole bunch of data that's just lost. It's lost data. So at G-Shift, we've done something about this. And is that cut off for you guys at the top or just for me? It says frequency of conversations. So what we've done in our platform is I think that conversations that are happening in social is the best place to find the most relevant, accurate keyword data to drive the content marketing strategy. And so what we do for any keyword that matters to your brand, and you see the red arrow, so content marketing matters to G-Shift, we go into the Twitter feed and understand the frequency and the volume of conversations that are happening to understand if it's something that people care about, right? And so then we also do things like find the influencers. And so this Stanford Smith guy, he has 23,000 followers and 23,000 friends. And so I was like, and he talks about content marketing like 365 times over the past, I think it was like 7 days or something like this. And so I reached out to Stanford and I was like, hey, Stanford, you're talking about content marketing a lot. I'm Krista from G-Shift. Can you tweet some stuff for us? Can you follow us? And so he now tweets our stuff on a regular basis. I know that he's an influencer because obviously 23,000 people care what he talks about. So think about how you can get your content in front of influencers who can then distribute your content into the audience that cares about the influencer. So just some interesting take on data, as well as we're collecting all kinds of related and associated terms and hashtags around any keyword that matters to your brand, so that, here we go, video. Video content marketing was talked about 10,000 times over a certain period of time. I could write a blog about video content marketing and use the hashtag strategically and get my content into the eyes of people who obviously care about video content marketing. So smart question number 3, what keyword research data sources are we using to inform our content marketing workflow process? If you're using crappy data, so if you are indeed using data to inform your digital marketing strategy, make sure it's great data. There's a lot of free, shitty data sources out there, and it makes me sad that we put in effort to take data and build it into our digital strategy to make smarter decisions, but it's crap data. Okay, so just be aware of what the difference is between a great data source and a bad data source. And related content, I love this one the best, this data source in G-Shift. I think one of the biggest gaps in the content marketing workflow process is not so much even the data, it's we don't take enough time to understand where to strategically distribute our content. We spend the time to write a blog, it's a perfect blog, we've written it for precisely the right stage of the sales funnel, and then we just put it on our site and we tweet it a couple of times. We can go and tell you the sources because we're scanning Twitter and we're looking for keywords and we find a keyword that has a shortened URL. We follow that shortened URL. We look at that destination page. Does that destination page contain the keyword that I'm tracking? If so, bring it back so I can inform the process to say, I should try to get my blog post published on those external pages. So that I think we're really, so to recap, I really think that we're missing the opportunity to publish our content strategically and thoughtfully into the right channels, external sources that can really drive traffic back to your web presence. Smart question number 4, are we being strategic about the distribution and publishing of content? I think we need to spend more time in the process doing that. Write less content, spend more time distributing what you already have, okay? And then I love this graphic. This is just like so simple, right? How far can we spread the message? This looks so simple, it's so difficult. And the tracking of it is difficult, but how far can we amplify our message? So again, distributing it again and again and again and understanding where those influencers are and how they can impact your business. I want to talk about behavior and device because I think this is something that we need to think about a little bit more in digital marketing regardless of which pillar that we're talking about. We all know what this is, and I should have changed this, Andrew, I'm really sorry. Should have been a Bing search box, but we know what this is. It's a Google search box. But what is this, right? It's a, this is what it looks like when you talk to the Google search box, right? And so think about the behavioral change that you exhibit when you do a textual search. So I had the opportunity to go to Hawaii and do a bunch of presentations in Hawaii. So this example is from that. When I do a textual search at the search box, I'm probably going to type flower store Honolulu, right? But when I do a conversational search, whether that's at the Google search box, the Bing search box, or on your device, it's going to be more conversational. And that changes the SERPs. It changes the content that is brought back for your prospect to search on, right? And you can sort of see the difference. And so think about when you're doing your keyword research to inform the content marketing workflow process, how the behavior changes because your discoverability does too. And that's really, really massive. And I think that we need to really think about, I'm going to skip a little bit, how that impacts our keyword research. Like a lot of times now when you're doing keyword research, you're saying, all right, here are the top 10 keywords that I want to rank for. I hate hearing that sentence. And it used to be that, flower shop, flower store, but now we need to consider the impact of the behavioral changes across device. So instead of just flower shop and flower store Toronto, shop Toronto, I am looking for a flower shop, I am looking for a flower store. So think about what those phrases, how you can expand your keyword research to understand and predict the behavior of your prospect depending on the device that they're searching from. Is everybody doing this? Like, is everybody sitting there thinking, oh, we do that already? Yes? You do that already? Awesome. All right. And geography and device, right? And so we all know if I'm standing here searching on my mobile device and I search on Flower Store Honolulu as opposed to being in Honolulu on my device or at a desktop, it's really just different. And so you need the data to understand at different points in the world, if you're a B2B or B2C, I mean, the way you're discovered at 100 Front Street is on a mobile device is going to be different than how your brand is discovered a block away from your competitor at 500 Yonge Street, right? And so having access to that data, which is essentially keyword rank data, but I like to call it discoverability data, understanding the difference, how you rank on a mobile device for a keyword phrase at any geography point in the world compared to a desktop is really important information to have. And I'm almost done. Content level performance metrics. So how do you measure all this stuff, right? Because again, it's one of the biggest gaps in the entire process. Measuring the impact and performance of a piece of content. So it's really important to have those content level metrics. So how many social signals did this piece of content produce over this period of time in any social network that matters to your audience? Understanding backlinks, because yes, backlinks are still important to the SEO process. Understanding the backlinks, the great backlinks that have been produced to that piece of content, understanding all the keywords that that piece of content may be discovered for, which ones are highly converting, and where are the opportunities to optimize, which I think is the last smart question. What are our content level engagement and performance metrics in search and social, and where are the opportunities to optimize? And that's a loaded question, but it's possible to find out all of your content level performance metrics. And then this is appalling. This is, I think, my last slide. I discovered this, so I've been chatting about sort of some high-level stuff and how the industry is changing. I want you to do this when you go back to the office, or go and talk to the agency that you're working with, except for Dev, because I know that they're already nailing this. So we monitor a lot of web presences, and I said to my engineers, it's like, I want to take 5,000 web presences, and I want to understand how many of them don't even have Google Analytics hooked up, like no analytics system. And so this is all to say, I mean, if you're going to build smart content, that's great. You're going to measure it properly, that's great. I think there's some fundamental things as well that you need to take a look at. And so here's some data. Across 5,000 web presences, 28% of them don't even have Google Analytics set up. And then 42% of the remaining, so 42% of the 72%, have 0 conversions. It's appalling. 19% have just 1 conversion. So Google Analytics goals and conversions, go back home, go back to the office, and at least ask, and this is the bonus smart question, do we have Google Analytics set up? Are we monitoring at all what the performance of our content is? Or, simple things, right? Like time on site, a number of pages visited. Those are simple engagement and performance metrics. Please do this, because if you're not doing this, you can't really start to do anything else. And how many people think that they don't have Google Analytics hooked up, or any analytics system? Because there are other analytics systems. How many have goals and conversions set up? You can set up like 20 of them. Oh, that was the other appalling thing. So over here on in the data, you look at the top, there's something like only 45 web presences are maximizing the number of goals and conversions that are set up. And guess who does the services for those 45? G-Shift. So I just think that there's a massive opportunity. Go home and find out if you're capitalizing on that. So to totally recap, keyword research is key to create smart content, to join the conversation, to control your digital culture in search and social, effectively publish that content, measure it, and continue to optimize it, and get yourself up into that upper right-hand quadrant called the Digital Masters, and you'll take over the world. And merci beaucoup. And we have lots of resources that you can download, and thanks for listening.